Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about breastfeeding. What I wish I knew before giving birth about breastfeeding. So if you're interested, please continue watching. So where do I begin with breastfeeding? Honestly, I thought breastfeeding was going to be so easy. It's like you bring your baby home, your baby, you give birth, your baby just latches on to your nipple. Yes, I thought it was just they would just suck the nipple. That's how naive I was about it. And life's easy. You don't have to worry about formula. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just so naive when it came to it. First of all, that is not true. I did not know that anyone could actually have like latching issues, which I had a bunch. Like since the moment I was in the hospital, I had a whole bunch of latching issues. My baby was, first I thought she was latching on properly. Turns out she wasn't. She was honestly chewing up my nipples. Like after I think like the second day or something of me attempting to breastfeed her, my nipples were completely destroyed by the time I left the hospital. They were sore. I think I even got like a nipple blister. I know, TMI, but these are things that were so new to me. Like I didn't know that could happen at all. I was just completely kind of like taken by surprise. To be honest, I did not know about a lactation nurse. I didn't even know that position existed, a lactation consultant. So yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Like that's just a part of it. Then from there, so yeah, let me just go through the list. What I wish I knew. One, having latching issues, like I mentioned. I would have definitely have taken breastfeeding classes. So if you are an expecting mom and you have no idea about breastfeeding like I did, and you think it's like super easy, which it may be for you, in my case it wasn't. I would recommend, just in general, just go to one class, go to a breastfeeding class. Like I think the more you know, the better, because there can be a lot of problems that can come along. Like for me, I thought my baby was latching on right. I thought I was doing well in feeding my baby properly. Turns out that wasn't the case. So if you could take a breastfeeding class, I would definitely recommend taking a breastfeeding class. I wish if I could go back in time now, I would have definitely done that, because I think it would have prepared me more mentally and emotionally for the whole process of breastfeeding and trying to get your milk supply up. And there was a lot of things that I didn't know. Like for example, the second thing I wanted to bring up is milk supply. I thought you give birth, you're just going to have milk all the time, and that's not true. You constantly have to keep on working on your milk supply. And if you, like say for example, if you don't feed enough, or if you don't pump enough, which is my case, I'm pumping, my supply has gone down, and it is very, very, very stressful. It is so stressful. To bring it back up, it's just a nightmare, because you are stressed that you're not producing enough milk for your child. It's like, how are you going to feed your child? And then second, it's just so much work to get your supply back up. So I think that goes back to taking a breastfeeding class. I'm sure, I never went to one, but I'm sure that that's something that they would definitely bring up and explain to someone. Third thing I wish I knew was I have an awesome pump, which is the Spectra pump. It's supposed to be like a grade A, like hospital pump. I wish I would have pumped immediately after I gave birth and started producing colostrum, because I think my supply would have just come in sooner. And had I had my supply going on in the hospital and had it kind of like steady, I think it would have been better for me. And I wish I would have taken a pump, even if it was a manual pump, just to get it going. It took me a while. It took me a couple days after I left the hospital to actually start producing milk. And once I did, I don't think I was maintaining it properly, and I think I've never gotten that supply that I got that first time. I haven't gotten that back. I think I was producing maybe close to 5 ounces per breast, and now I am down to, I think, 3. But I mean, 2 ounces makes like such a difference. Trust me, you'll know once you're breastfeeding or pumping. Another thing I wish I knew, how hard pumping was. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna pump, I'm gonna get the milk, like what's so hard about that? It's very hard. It's super time consuming. You have to do it constantly, and sometimes it can hurt, and it can be very, very uncomfortable. And again, it's like one of those things that you have to keep on doing, and it's not easy. So let me tell you, when I say that my breastfeeding journey, and this has only been 6 weeks, I have cried. I have been on the verge of literally like feeling like I am about to get depressed because I wasn't able to have my baby latch on. So it's been a complete roller coaster. And you know what, honestly, when I was so upset at myself because I was just like, why didn't I prepare myself? Like, what was I thinking? Why was I so naive? Now I'm kind of like in a good spot because it's like my supply is okay. I've accepted the fact that I may have to, you know, give my baby formula. And for some reason, I don't know why that was really hard for me to accept the fact that I had to, maybe was going to formula feed my baby. I'm a formula fed baby, my whole family is. So I don't know, I'm honestly the first person in my family who has really like gone through with the whole breastfeeding. So that's another thing I wish I would have prepared myself for, is getting people around me that breastfed, and you know, getting tips and advice from them, because it's really important. There's just so much you don't know, and of course every situation is different. Some people have had it's super easy and have had no issues. Well, for me, they were major issues because they were emotionally and mentally and physically taking a toll on me. It's like, imagine after giving birth and thinking, okay, everything's gonna be okay, and then like being like, okay, gosh, now I'm not only am I sleep deprived, but I have all these other things going on. So yeah, it was definitely a lot. And another thing that I wish I knew, so this is more like if you're going to pump, I highly recommend that you get a I really don't know what the name is, but it's basically, it's a bra, so that way when you're pumping, your hands free. Because I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I didn't get this bra sooner. I would literally hold the 2 like suction cups or whatever you call them and pump for 30 minutes until someone was like, why don't you get a hands-free, you know, you'll be hands-free, like get one of those pumping bras. And I was like, what is that? And basically, I'll show you guys what it is. Basically, it's one of these bras, and what is it? Basically, you put your, like, I don't know what you call it, like that suction thing here, you put it around, your hands free, and you're pumping, and you're also like able to be on your laptop or do certain things, which is honestly amazing. I did not get this until maybe like 3 weeks after pumping. Yeah, I was suffering because I didn't do my research, but this is what it looks like. So I definitely recommend one of these. I don't know, whatever brand works for you guys. They're, you know, pretty affordable. They're like $30, so I would recommend that. Had I known all these things were gonna happen, I would have prepared myself better. I would have definitely done more research, because it's hard. It's so hard. And I've also Had I known that I was going to have trouble like breastfeeding, when I left the hospital, I was told that, okay, you're fine, you're good to go, you're fine, like your baby's breastfeeding, she's getting the colossum, so like you're good to go. Long story short, that was not true. My baby was practically starving the night that I brought her home from the hospital. So I wish I would have just bought formula, just because that night was like a huge nightmare, even though now I'm starving the night that I brought her home from the hospital. So I wish I would have just bought formula, just because that night was like a huge nightmare, even though now I'm like I'm producing breast milk, and you know, I'm giving my baby breast milk. But I wish I would have had like formula. Even if you are going to just solely breastfeed, which was me, just to research on a formula that just have it as a backup, like just in case, you know, you're not able to produce milk or whatever issue it is that you have a formula that you're comfortable giving your baby while you fix those breastfeeding issues. So I guess you can say this video is more about like issues. I don't know, I'm tired, guys. Like, having a baby is no joke. It's nice, but it's also a lot of hard work and kind of like sleepless nights. Yeah, it is. When people tell you like, oh, you know, be prepared, you're gonna be super tired, I always was like, okay, like, sure, I'm sure I'll get some sleep. Some nights I have not gotten any sleep at all. I've literally had to go to a relative's house to get sleep. But anyways, this video is more about breastfeeding. I was just literally had a moment where I had to just vent a little bit. But yeah, like I was saying, I would definitely, and make sure you get a good pump. I am so fortunate that that's one thing that I did do research on, because I knew that I wanted a pump. So I did do research, and luckily I was able to get a pump that, you know, works well for me. I have no complaints. It's called the Spectra, which I will also be doing another video on the must-haves of a woman who just pumps, because that's my life. I'm not like, I'm just pumping right now, you know. Occasionally I'll breastfeed, but mainly it's like 95% pumping and like 5% breastfeeding. So I would definitely do a video, because I feel like had I known I had those products, I would be a different person right now. I probably wouldn't be so tired. That's what I think. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, everyone's experience is different. Just take a breastfeeding class if you can. It's super important. Or if you don't, or if you can afford just going to a lactation specialist or whatever it is, like, just do it as soon as you can. Pump as soon as you can. Invest in a good pump too. You don't want to, you know, work so hard, especially when all your energy needs to be going to your baby. So that's today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's probably super short. My baby's right here in her snoo, so she's sleeping right now. So when I make these YouTube videos, I have to make them super quick before she wakes up, because then I have to feed her. And I'm currently trying to get her on a schedule. A relative actually recommended this book called Baby Wise. So I'm currently reading the book. Actually, I'm not reading the book, I'm doing the audio. I'm lying, sorry. So I'm doing the audio book, and I'm trying to get her on a schedule. And I also will be doing a review on the snoo. It has been life-changing for me and my husband. It has helped us so much. And I know a lot of people, some people don't really know about it. When I bring it up to them, to new moms, they're like, what is that? But I will be doing a video on the snoo. It is amazing. And that's it for today. Until next time, see you later, guys.